Nibiru Anunnaki Part I Nibiru of Directors, The Mission Remembered, Book 2 We Are the Nibiruans, Book 1. We Are the Nibiruans. Learn about life on Earth, Nibiruans, our galactic history, the seed stars, walk-ins, how to recode your DNA and much more. The mission recalled. The Nibiruans reveal their work to prepare for the end of this historical cycle. Discover galactic events that in these days of end times are being reissued on Earth between now and by the end of that cycle. Jelaila Star. Council Nibiru Anunnaki Part 1. Anu Speaks, Introduction. Greetings to you, the beloved humanity on Earth. I am Anu, their parent race, the Pleiadians, and more specifically, the Nibiruans of 4-star/planet named Nibiru Pleiadian. I am sharing the story of your universe and planet to begin the open-mindedness of you to the fact that they are not alone in the universe, and that in fact, there is a race of beings who love them and protect them. I share with you an overview, something like the main part of the storyline. I join parts of it to the information that I have directed Jelaila searching. In your Bible, we, their parent race, we leave you. There is a line that says try everything in this line of thought, surely, belongs to the story that I will share. At one point I will give to Jelaila titles and authors, but I encourage them to research for themselves. Look out for yourself, as the Lord God is good. Blessed is he who finds security in it. Psalm 34. v. 8, as this is a good way to prove for themselves the truth of my story. I would like to start by explaining a bit about me and my people, their ancestors. I am known by Anu name in many of his excellent books on the Sumerian, Egyptian and Babylonian gods of your planetary history. I am a pure descent Pleiadian Lyra constellation, whose main star/sun is Vega, a member of the Royal Avian Assembly. Real simply means that we hold the agreements that our ancestor, Amelius, an aspect of Sananda, made to maintain pure seed DNA for the prototype of the human DNA. Constellation Lyra, whose main star is Vega. SA race, we are tall, usually between 9 to 11 feet 3-4 meters, have gold or silver hair, blue eyes and fair skin. I particularly have 3 meters high, silvery blonde hair and blue eyes. All Lyra humans have genuinely silvery blonde hair, blue eyes and fair skin. The golden hues of our bodies and hair were introduced by our mating with the lion beings, or as some call them, the felines. My ancestors came from a planet called Avian, in the Vega system. The Lyra constellation was Avian that the human species was originally seeded and developed by the felines, by order of the founders and the universal spiritual hierarchy. This is also the place where Sananda, one of the 9 founders of our universe, fragmented herself to create Amelius. Amelius was the first soul and first human in Avian. His lineage became known as the Amelius line, the Royal House of Avian. The Royal House of Avian moved and settled in the Pleiades many millions of years ago, the time for you. Compared to other star clusters in the Milky Way galaxy, the Pleiades are some of the new suns, stars and planets. Our ancestors, led by the family patriarch, Devon, received the Pleiades as their new home, given the 9 founders of our universe after the original planet of them, Lyriano Avian, became uninhabitable. We are a race of independent persons. But it was not always so. Before the creation of Nibiru, we were people who expressed only the feminine qualities. Since we are in Nibiru, we are experiencing the male side, which gives us our independence. As a race we are working to find the balance between the two, the integration point as you would say. I'd like to now, information about Nibiru itself. It is a beautiful and red planet manufactured gold in our atmosphere gives the planet a magenta hue, and we live in it and not on the surface, like you. The exterior side of the planet is wrapped in a kind of metallic substance does not exist on your planet Earth. The open cluster M45, the Pleiades, with Halcyon, the star of the set of almost 500 suns, this mark the circle in red. It is the logos of our sun sub-logos place in our solar system. In the Bible the star/sun Alcyone is referred to as the days of recent, with the central sun galaxy Hunabku his creator and called the Ancient of Days. Our solar system orbits the central sun of the Pleiades, Alcyone, the largest and brightest star in the picture, giving a full turn a solar year every 25,920 years, and the date of December 21, 2012, the end of the 13th Bhaktan of the Maya calendar and the Kali Yuga of India, mark the end of a cycle of such solar years. The protective force field around our planet/ship gives him the shine much talked about in his past civilizations, including the Egyptians. They called Nibiru the bright star of the firmament. The rings around our planet Nibiru, this resembles the wall of Iapetus, Saturn's moon's equator, are part of the propulsion system that moves through space and also add to the brilliance of Nibiru. It was created by the Galactic Federation as a planet/star force, as a guardian of peace. Its purpose is to promote harmony between the many and varied civilizations on planets of our galaxy. The Pleiades are the current basis of all human civilizations in our galaxy, having replaced long ago the Vega system as such. Nibiru is about 4 times larger than Earth. In it there is room for many races and species co-inhabiting beings in relative harmony, generation after generation. There are beautiful lakes, seas, oceans, mountains and valleys, just like on Earth. Trees and plants of all kinds grow in profusion. Nibiru was created to resemble our original planetary home, Avian. Avian had 2 suns and a firmament just like a tropical paradise. Although the light within our planet/ship is artificial, Nibiru is still a green and lush paradise. He has a day and artificial night with a star dome at night. Most of the Earth's vegetation came from seeds developed in our extensive laboratories in scattered Nibiru. We also have cities like for you. Considering that we are a stellar force guardian of peace, we have vast areas for maintenance and storage of defense and exploration ships. The Enterprise spaceship of his television series Star Trek is very similar in mission and purposes, Nibiru. On a spiritual level, Nibiru provided a way for us, femininely polarized Pleiadians, experience negativity. Having to protect colonies, we were face to face with negativity, and we were then able to experience and understand its foundations based on fear. As a race, we become stagnant due to the lack of negativity. Negativity has a very useful purpose in spiritual evolution. As we had no negativity on our planet, we had no evolution. The solution to our problem was the creation of Nibiru. He is superbly equipped with the most advanced technology of the universe. I was told as a child, in the great day when he was put into operation. There was a lot of trumpets, party and celebration. Nibiru was more than a stellar force. It was, for us, the physical representation of our advanced research for spiritual growth. He was also our new home. The launch of Nibiru was a worthy sight to behold. My ancestor, Nyesta, was the first commander/Nibiru administrator. 17 generations later, I was given the command of Nibiru, after Alalu, my half-brother, was asked to resign at the request of Nibiruan Council of the Galactic Federation. He had taken the command after my father's death and served nobly. He was a good commander, but could no longer meet the needs of the people in the situation at that time. Alalu had lost his wife and daughter during a battle with the reptiles. He felt he needed to go, and so was sent to Earth to search for gold. He enjoyed the kind of trip that helped him recover from deaths of his wife and daughter. I know it was written that I pulled by force command on a great battle, but did not. This was written by my grandson, Marduk. He changed all handwritten records after he became the administrator/commander. I was the commander of Nibiru Marduk to take him by force, around 3200 BC. I started my command for a long time before coming to your planet, there 480,000 years ago. Now we live in a mothership Pleiadian outside Nibiru, along with my sister/wife Antu, Ninhasag my daughter, my sons Enlil and Enki and a host of other family members. We are currently maintaining an orbit the Pleiadian mothership near the planet Saturn, where we have extensive laboratory facilities. There are many beings from Nibiru and other planets and galaxies aboard this ship Pleiadian Mother, who are actively involved in the realization of the divine plan for the Earth and its people. There are many other aliens, parents of starseeds on Earth and also representatives of parents of starseeds races, walking aboard the ship to assist their children incarnated on Earth. It is very exciting to work with you through our people on Earth. They are known as emissaries of the Galactic Federation of Nibiruan Council and also as Avionianos. There are many of these emissaries incarnate among you, who are disseminating issues about their relationship and the good news about the assistance that we bring at the close of the final drama of the time for you in three-dimensional reality. Soon you will finish this great drama we are living and will move to the fifth-dimensional reality, fifth dimension, and will join the majority of us who live in the fifth and even higher dimensions. Nibiru is four-dimensional at this point. We in the Pleiadian mothership, we are in the sixth dimension. I drive the sixth-dimensional region of Nibiruan Council of the Galactic Federation. Our main task now is to help the man in a process we call recoding and DNA reconnection. However, we are also working to convey to you the story of your universe and planet. We also work with the Christ Ministry of Earth Spiritual Hierarchy. I will give more information later, in a few moments. The Nibiruan Council is very broad and has various levels, and assists the Earth and the other planets in our solar system as we work with beings of many galaxies and star systems. In this present moment we are focused on an alliance with our advisor race, the Felines, Siriusa, and the Christic Syrians, the so-called Alliance Syrian/Pleiadian. Together, we are working on DNA recoding of you. We are also transmitting information about the history and about the paternity of you. Sirius, a solar system triple Siriusa, B, the main star of the constellation Canis Major and the brightest star in Earth's skies. The Felines provide help removing the DNA of implant their astral bodies and merging the 12 strands of DNA in their astral bodies, in your endocrine system. The Syrian Christic provide assistance in helping to achieve those on Earth who are ready to embrace the process of DNA recoding. They work with the guides of these individuals and encourage them to unblock and cleanse their bodies, as a preparation for the process. Now I'd like to take you for a return journey in time to share the story of their universe with you. Anu and Universal History. I'll start this story with a brief assessment of how the universe is organized and administered. Our universe is composed of many galaxies, stars and planets, and the spiritual hierarchies watch all of this. There are many different hierarchies. The universal hierarchy is like the board of directors of a large corporation. The other hierarchies watch different galaxies, constellations and star systems, and in addition, there are hierarchies overseeing the individual planets and stars/suns. These are the planetary hierarchies. All hierarchies are composed of souls who chose to serve in the angelic realms. Amelius/Sananda, although not the angelic realm, is in charge of the spiritual hierarchy planetary of you, since it is the most important of the etheric Syrian, the inheritors of the earth. Another type of hierarchy advises the divine plan of different soul groups. I will discuss this briefly. Souls. There are two kinds of souls, those who embody and those that do not. Those who do not embody are called angels. Those who embody are called embodied. All souls are fragments of the divine creator, or as many of you say, God. Angels learn and evolve just like the rest of us, they just do it differently. Angels evolve serving and helping incarnated as members of the spiritual hierarchies. Embodied, their souls evolve by learning to serve one another. So in essence, all souls evolve through mutual service. Service is synonymous with unconditional love, and unconditional love mutual is what we all strive to achieve. Soul groups. Souls are divided into groups according to the preference they have for the evolution or angels incarnate and its level of evolution. The grouping of the incarnate makes it easier management of the divine plan. The souls move into and out of the groups as they evolve. Some souls evolve faster than others. Souls clusters are groupings within larger groups of souls. The groups consist of no more than 15 souls who are to work together in a particular lesson, for example, impulsive or selfish. Once the lesson learned, the souls go to other groups to learn other lessons. Mentors are placed for each soul group to help them during their lifetimes and after, when they return to the spirit disembody. Soul groups. Earth. Right now there is a huge group of souls using the Earth, the Syrian terrestrial. This particular soul group is a group to which the physical body with 2 strands of DNA like yours was created. All souls on Earth use the DNA of vehicles of two tapes without realizing its true planetary origin. On Earth there are also many other smaller groups of souls. The star seed and walk-ins are some of these smaller groups. Now let's look at the great divine plan. Anu, a giant, lord of Nibiru, represented by the star in the circle, recorded in a Sumerian stele. Anu in the great divine plan. Everything in our universe is a part of the divine creator. The divine creator, whom I will refer only to him for the sake of simplicity, was in a state of absolute primacy and perfection, and, after a while, that was pretty boring. Thus, the divine creator decided that he wanted to experience more of himself. To do this, we had to break himself into many pieces, and he did just that. He has fragmented into thousands of small divine creator. Each was a paper copy carboned from him, and he called them first soul sowers. Each had the ability to create, express, understand and feel emotions of all kinds. In essence, they were gods like him. That is why we say that you are gods incarnate, just as we are incarnated gods. Each of you is a fragment of the divine creator, like me and everyone else. Each of us is equal to him, since we have the same powers to understand, create, etc. It's what we do with our power and is, how we feel that provokes feelings of inequality. These first source souls were divided into two lines of evolution, angelica and incarnate. Embodied souls have 12 dimensions through which evolve, and the angelic souls have 7 kingdoms to its evolutionary process. Angels and embodied could not evolve without the other, which means they would have to work together for the progress of all. To evolve, souls had to try something to create development. So the divine creator created games for that to happen, like the main game of you, which is called Game of the Integration of Polarities. This game needed that roles were created for light and darkness. The task was to experience all facets of each and learn to integrate both the integration of polarities. Once a soul achieved this, it will be reunited with the divine creator. The divine creator also includes a formula or tool for achieving the integration of polarities. This formula is called Formula 13th Dimension of Compassion. Considering that the divine creator is the essence of love, the task was to learn unconditional love and compassion for all beings, regardless of the role they are currently performing. This formula would be given to all souls, just before the final events of their planetary games. The formula would be available to every soul on the planet. It would be used to permanently release negative emotions of their bodies, thus illuminating them. Once a certain number of souls to complete this task, the Earth would be transferred to the next dimension, bringing with it all the other planets, both in front as the back, leading them to a nearest point of meeting with the divine creator. Then came the creation of the divine plan. Each universe, galaxy, star, planet and soul had a divine plan, and the angels, in hierarchies, supervised it all. The angels also had their divine plan. You also have an individual divine plan for your evolution and are also working simultaneously in the divine plan of your soul group, on your planet, in your galaxy and your universe. No wonder you are so busy. Our divine universal plan. Our universal divine plan was created by builders in conjunction with the most recently organized universal spiritual hierarchy, the game creators, 90 felines and carrions. Builders were a small group of first source souls, who had been associated. They are called by many on your planet, of the Council of Nine. The founders chose integration set of polarities to their universe about to be created. Builders enlisted the help of beings from another universe who had already completed the same game, the felines and carrions. In their universe, the felines had represented the light, and the carrions darkness. They were then asked them to build the universe, would create life forms including physical vehicles for souls, and so the planets and stars. The stargates, dimensions, portals and levels should be created as well. The universal construction felines engineers created the planets and the feline genetic engineers have created life forms, while the magnetic carrions engineers took care of the stargates, dimensions, portals and levels. The two main races created for the game were human and reptiles. Humans were created in the image of felines and reptiles were created in the image of carrions. After the construction was complete, the founders asked for another group of felines and carrions help. This time it was to mount the game itself. 90 felines and carrions who responded to the request were the designers of the game. All were experienced players polarity integration game and managed to enable this integration to countless souls in many universes, galaxies and planets. They were all first soul sources. Creators organized meetings with the 90 engineers and the game of the project was developed. It was decided that the 90 were divided as follows: 45 would be born in the Luciferian line, the reptile, and 45 would be born in Amelia's line of human to start the game. This would introduce the two races, a genetic memory of a polarity integration game already completed. Inspectors game reside in the 10th and 11th dimensions as the Council of 24 and the Council of the 12. Game directors reside in the 12th dimension, such as the Council of 9. An extraterrestrial being of Grey constellation Lyra, solar system Vega. When everyone has had their certain roles, the 90 designers of the game chose one among themselves to represent them in the Council of 9. The chosen was Devon. Devon is the 9th member of the Council of 9. The role of Devon was to start the game through the birth in Amelia's line, becoming the Patriarch. After that, his primary duty would be to remain on the board of 9 and awaken the other 89 in the pre-established time frame for the end of the planetary and galactic games. When every soul in the universe had achieved the integration of polarities, the game would be over and our universe would be reunited with the Divine Creator. This is what you and I are working now. The conclusion of the polarity integration game on Earth will move the world to a next step of reunification with the Divine Creator. I will now briefly explain the part of the divine plan of our galaxy that belongs to you and me. Our divine plan galactic. Within the plane of our galaxy there were 4 main races of beings involved in our game of polarity integration. I refer now to those who play the lead roles in this story. They are human, the reptiles, the felines, the carrions and their creator. While there are many other species of incarnate beings in our universe, we, like human and reptiles, are also descendants of felines and carrions. The divine plan called on reptiles to represent the dark forces and human to represent the forces of light as a whole, although each of us experience life on both sides, light and darkness, at some point in our evolution. The felines would create human and reptiles. The carrions would give protection for each race until she could defend itself alone. Each soul group learned to evolve through the role they would play in the plan. It is much more complicated than this, but I'll leave the details for another book. This one is only an overview. The reptiles and human learn to move beyond fear, hatred and prejudice, and learn to activate the formula of compassion 13th dimension within their code. So they would value love and appreciate the differences of each. This was and still is the evolutionary goal of them, and our galaxy is providing the venue for the representation of this drama. Nibiru in the Lost Book of Enki. Anunnaki gods nevermore. The Lost Book of Enki/E, of Nibiru. All the ancient scriptures, the Bible, the Greek myths and Egyptian texts, the pyramid texts, everything, led me to the Sumerians, whose civilization was the first known 6,000 years ago. I focused on Sumer, the source of these legends and myths and texts, and got his repeated and persistent statements about these beings, which the Sumerians called the Anunnaki Nephilim, who came to Earth from a planet called Nibiru. The planet was designated, represented by the symbol of the cross, and Nibiru means planet of passage crossing. Memories and prophecies of an alien god native planet Nibiru, who is the creator of man, the current atom and EVA of clay of Earth. Anunnaki creates man-ape. Some Sumerian plates contain a journal of Ea/Enki, which was translated by Zechariah Sitchin and published under the title The Lost Book of Enki, The Lost Book of Enki. These chronicles he reveals that during the course of a planetary council on Nibiru planet, where it was decided that Enki should create a land alien hybrid with genetic material from Nibiru by manipulating the genetic engineering. Enlil, the biblical Yahweh Jehovah, the main deity of the Hebrews, the angry and jealous Lord God of the old armies that will in the Bible, the half-brother of Enki, protested hard, arguing that the Anunnaki had coming to Earth to gold mining and not to play God. the two gods brothers represented on a clay tablet of the Sumerian culture. The inhabitants of the planet Nibiru, the Nephilim/Anunnaki, were well aware of the existence of Logos, the creator primary, responsible for the creation and expansion of energy and matter that makes up the universe, but on condition that teachers of science, including genetics, they did not oppose the possibility of interfering with the natural evolution of worlds in formation, like Earth, in the past, because the ecosystem of their planet Nibiru Christmas was threatened, and under the pressure of circumstances they needed manpower. Literally, they needed slaves for mining gold on Earth, as has been said before. The Logos? Verb in Greek originally meant the spoken or written word, but from Greek philosophers like Heraclitus took on a broader meaning. Logos becomes a philosophical concept translated as a reason, as much as the individual rationalization of capacity or as a cosmic principle of order and beauty. In Catholic theology, the philosophical concept of the Logos would be adapted in the Gospel of John. The evangelist refers to Christ who anointed the man Jesus as the Logos, that is, the Word. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. John 1:1. Plates were found with Sumerian inscriptions as in the photo above, containing a journal of Enki, which was translated by Zecharia Sitchin and published under the title The Lost Book of Enki. These Enki chronic reveals that during the council in which it was decided that he should create a land-alien hybrid worker through genetic engineering, his brother Enlil protested hard, arguing that the Anunnaki came to Earth to mining and not to play God, as Enlil always feuded with his brother Enki. I often use this controversy to stir up their power struggles, yet not without a certain reason, to expose all the risks involved in genetic engineering experiments and to interfere in natural order of things on planet Earth. The vastness of the universe material gives us the certainty that life is a constant phenomenon in countless worlds, and irrefutable proof of the existence of the Creator Logos. And indeed, it is interesting to think of the possibility that other beings as intelligent, powerful and skilled as the Anunnaki, worlds to journey into worlds, spreading, changing or improving their lives and contributing to a higher cosmic purpose. Certainly this issue bothers most people. Most have sloth to think for himself, for very takes work to develop consciousness. But nowadays, advanced technology, where spatial trips, genetics and bioengineering are current issues in the media, this ancient truth could and must be disclosed. This knowledge would be critical to humanity's preparation for the next passage of Nibiru planet. Below, the Anunnaki in panels and stelae. Sumerians, Assyrians, are also found in the culture of the Egyptians and Mayans. In the four ancient civilizations mentioned, there is a clear presence of extraterrestrial beings of all sizes and even giants, as seen in the stelae of the Sumerian. There were giants in those days in the land. And also afterward, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men and had children by them. These were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown. Genesis 6:4. The following excerpts from an interview by Zecharia Sitchin, where he reveals his work of translation of the Sumerian Plates. All the ancient scriptures, the Bible, the Greek myths and Egyptian texts, the pyramid texts, everything, led me to the Sumerians, whose civilization was the first known 6,000 years ago. I focused on Sumer, the source of these legends and myths and texts, and got his repeated and persistent statements about these beings, which the Sumerians called Anunnaki, who came to Earth from a planet called Nibiru. The planet was designated, represented by the symbol of the cross, and Nibiru means planet of passage, crossing. Sitchin follows. The question in my research changed. So who were the Nephilim and the Anunnaki, to what planet is this Nibiru? What forced me to be proficient in astronomy, and had to learn enough about it to deal with the matter? I discovered that scholars were divided. Some said Nibiru was Mars, which in fact was described and known to the ancient people, and others said no, it was Jupiter. Those who said it was Jupiter and not Mars, had very convincing arguments why it could not be Mars. And those who said it was Mars and not Jupiter had very convincing arguments also why it could not be Jupiter. Representation of Enki, the god of water. Being able to go directly to the source, The clay tablets and cuneiform the Sumerian culture, it seemed to me that no one was right, because the description of Nibiru and its position when near the sun indicated that it could not be Mars and it could not be Jupiter. And then one night I woke up with the answer, surely, is one more planet that comes periodically between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. And sometimes it is closer to Mars and other closest to Jupiter, but neither Mars nor Jupiter. Sitchin continues, having understood that this was the answer, that there is one more planet Nibiru in our solar system, everything else fell into place. The significance of the epic of the Mesopotamian creation in Numa Elish, where they are based, copy almost verbatim the first chapters of the biblical Genesis and all details about the Anunnaki, who they were and who their leaders were and how they traveled from their planet to Earth and landed as the Persian Gulf, and about their first settlement in Mesoplaneta, their leaders, and so on. Everything became clear. The ancient Sumerians had a huge general knowledge. They knew about the existence of Uranus and Neptune and described them, and they also knew about Pluto. They were examples in mathematics and, in many respects, their knowledge exceeds today the modern day. A fact keeps secret so that scholars of our civilization to bypass shame. They said, all we know we have been told by the Anunnaki. Above, the Mesopotamian region and marked the cities created by the gods of Nibiru, the Anunnaki and Nephilim. The Garden of Eden extraterrestrial, between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers in what is now Iraq. The site of the creation of man by Ea/Enki. The publication of my first book and its impact, was the realization that many ancient peoples, beginning with the Sumerians, knew and described and spoke of one more planet in our solar system, and in some cases some of these cultures referred to Maldek planet. It was not a discovery like that of Pluto in 1930 which the Sumerians knew 6,000 years ago. Pluto was an astronomical discovery very interesting, and then the textbooks had to be revised. But for the average person, the man on the street, it really made no difference. Nibiru, on the other hand, was much different story. If Nibiru exists, and this is the planet that astronomers of today also call Planet 10, then the Anunnaki and Nephilim also exist. So the existence of Nibiru is not a simple matter of another planet in our solar system. This is different, because if the Nibiru and the Anunnaki exist, then the Sumerian claim that they come back your planet our vicinity every 3,600 years, and sometimes in the past gave us civilization. Then we are not alone, and there are people/humans more advanced technologically than we do in our own solar system. Book cover from the Lost Book of Enki. The Lost Book of Enki of Zecharia Sitchin. They asked me, they look like us? And I said, no, we seem with them. It is they who created us and made by genetic engineering the human body. They fired the weapon of evolution, and made us look physically with them, and be like emotionally. This is what the Bible says when he says, let's Adam after our likeness and image. Physically, externally and internally. Both how well they are, so are we. At this point it is possible to disagree with Sitchin because Nibiru exists only in fourth dimension and the density of the bodies of their Anunnaki inhabitants is not the same as ours. The similarity between them and us is mainly psychic. There is a tremendous difference in the lifespan. This is what gives a sense of their immortality. Because 1 year of them is in orbit of your planet, Nibiru, around our Sun and star/Sun Sirius constellation of Canis Major, 8.7 years light away from Earth in an ellipse that takes 3,600 of our years to complete. Thus, a year them equivalent to 3,600 of our years. This is a key and fundamental difference between us and them. Then there is the difference between the technological advance of them that enables them not only to travel in space, and have traveled to 500,000 years ago, but also revive the dead and do other things in biblical times, and still today miracles were considered. According to Zecharia Sitchin, the next passage of the 12th planet would be between 2012 and 2013. And despite the findings of Zecharia Sitchin, his conclusions about Nibiru's orbit are not absolutely correct like everything in life. The next passage of Nibiru through our solar system will be around 3440 AD, there are still over 1426 years for him to return from his ride from the Sirius orbit in the constellation Canis Major. Reportedly the landing site of Nibiruans was a place called Eridu, now southern Iraq. the site would remain various constructions of these people, including a pyramid that would have been used by Saddam Hussein as a hiding place during attacks on his country, Iraq. Americans would know these monuments and its priceless historical value. Why would not have destroyed Canis Major and Sirius, its main and the brightest star in Earth's skies? We must wait for the appearance of this magnificent phenomenon in the southern hemisphere sky. This would be even why telescopes in Argentina and Chile were reactivated and a new telescope was installed by the U.S. in South Pole. NASA has located a large object in the skies and would be analyzing the fact, which was classified as top secret, and it is a dwarf star Maron, companion of our Sun and not Nibiru that right now this far, in Sirius, although all data is apparently described in the books of the Earth Chronicles series of Sitchin. As he says, so we humans will be more prepared for the arrival of the Anunnaki. If there are so many convincing proofs that activity superhuman, in several places, why governments, particularly the U.S., a pioneer and the first in space and UFO research, and the other Western nations and the Arab world, do not report to the humanity about it? In fact, the answer is very simple. The winged disk is the main symbol of Nibiru in many ancient cultures. It is because this revelation that giant alien humanoid extraterrestrial beings from other planets of other star systems, connoisseurs even Decimus technologies, there are thousands, perhaps millions of years, colonized the Earth and influenced genetically in the creation and training of the human race, in SE past and still past for most of the Earth's inhabitants be our gods. All this would cause the ruin of all contemporary establishments, starting with the global religious system. All institutions would collapse because fraud gigantic, millennia would be unmasked and discoveries. Note, Zechariah Sitchin does not identify any of Enlil with the moody Lord of Hosts and the biblical Yahweh Jehovah of the Old Testament, perhaps for being Jewish Russian and not wanting to diminish the importance of the deity of their culture and not create conflict therewith. Other authors, however, identify the moody, spiteful and vindictive Yahweh, Jehovah Bible with Enlil, as Neil Freer, for example. In our view correctly, as Yahweh, Jehovah Bible is a small demigod, very angry, vindictiveness, moody and much of antiquity, and which also has a score to settle with the true Creator.